Hello friends, welcome to GS Webs. I hope you all are well and continue your preparation with very efficiently and effectively. Okay, today we'll discuss a session about Indian polity MCQ. It is the very most important MCQ according to previous year questions based on TCS pattern. Okay, we'll discuss MCQ and through this MCQ we will discuss some concept which is or which can be asked through this question. Okay, the first question is which amendment added sociality, secular and integrity to the preamble? Question says that by which amendment the three new words sociality, secular and integrity was added to our Indian constitution. The answer is 42nd amendment 1976. Okay, this is called as mini constitution. The 42nd amendment. Through this, the most of the parts of the Indian constitution was amended. Okay, and under this the preamble also was amended in 42nd amendment 1976. Okay, 24th amendment of 1971. Okay, 44th amendment of 1978. The next question is directive principle of state policy are borrowed from which constitution? The question says that through which constitution we borrowed the directive principle of state policy. The DPSP is mentioned in the part 4 of Indian constitution and article is article 36 to 51. It is borrowed from Ireland. It is borrowed from Ireland or Irish constitution Okay. Through USA, we borrowed fundamental rights. Okay, Australia and we borrow interstate relations, center-state relations. Okay, USSR we borrowed fundamental duties. Okay, these are the some extra point you can remember. You have to remember. The DPS says about the welfare state. It says about the welfare state. Okay. The next question is which article guarantees the right to constitutional remedies. Okay. If I say about the fundamental right, it is mentioned in part 3 of Indian constitution and article is article 12 to 35. It is borrowed from USA. Initially it was 7 fundamental right, but now it is 6 fundamental right. Article 31, which is right to property, was removed from fundamental right and is placed in article 300A. Okay, this is right to property. Okay, now you have right to property is no more a fundamental right. Okay, the question is right to constitutional remedy is article 32. Through article 32 we can go to Supreme Court for violation of any fundamental right. And we also can go to High Court in according article 226. Okay, 31 is right to property. Under article 19 we have 6 fundamental freedoms. Freedom of speech, assembly, association. Okay, and article 14 says about equality before law and equal protection of law. Equality before law was borrowed from UK and equal protection of law was borrowed from USA. Remember, equality before law and equal protection of law. Okay, 14 to 18 says about equality. 14 is equality for law, 15 is no discrimination, 16 is equal opportunity for public employment, 17 is untouchability, 18 is abolition of titles. Remember this point. Next question is fundamental duties were incorporated upon the recommendation of. The question is basically through which commission fundamental duties was added to Indian constitution or incorporated in Indian constitution. The committee is Sardar Sorensen Committee, which was established in 1976. and fundamental duties was added in Indian Constitution by 42nd Amendment 1976. Initially, there were 10 fundamental rights, but now it is 11 fundamental rights. One extra fundamental rights were added by 86th Amendment 2002, which is says about education. Says about education to 6 to 14 years age old. Okay. The answer is Sardar Sorensen Committee 1976. The Sarkaria Commission is says about center-state relations. Sarkaria Commission. Okay. The Balbandra Mehta Commission says about Panchayati Raj system. Remember, Sarkaria Commission says about center-state relation. Balbandra Mehta Committee Panchayati Raj, and Sardar Sorensen Committee is about fundamental duties. Next question is, who administers the oath of the office to the president, or we can say that who takes the oath of the president. Remember, the president takes oath to the CJI of India, and in his absence the senior most judge of India. Okay, and the president takes the oath of a speaker PM. Okay, and Article 52 of Indian Constitution says there shall be a president of India. Okay, Article 52 to 78 article says about the president, and Indian president is and India is the president is the executive head of the state, executive head of the country or nation or a state. Next question is the impeachment of the president is considered. Impeachment president is article 61 says about the impeachment. The question is, the impeachment of the president is considered a quasi judicial procedure. Remember, it is a quasi judicial procedure, neither legislative nor executive. It is a quasi judicial or beyond judicial, extra judicial. Okay, the article is 61 and in the impeachment of president, the both MPs means both elected and nominated can taken part in impeachment of the president, but the election of president, both only elected MPs can take part. Elected in the election and elected plus nominated in impeachment. The next question is, who elects the Vice President of India? Vice President. The Vice President is elected by all members of Parliament. Here all member means both elected and nominated members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Okay. Next question is a money bill. Money bill says about Article 110. Money bill can be introduced only in, remember, the money bill can be introduced only in Lok Sabha, but with the prior permission of president. But the speaker decides a bill whether a money bill or not. Remember, speaker decides a bill whether a money bill or not, but president give the permission to introduce the money bill in Lok Sabha only, and then it goes to Rajya Sabha for 14 days. If Rajya Sabha in the 14 days takes no action over the money bill, it seems to pass automatically. Okay, you can say that Rajya Sabha have the only 14 days over the money bill. Next question is, what is the maximum structural strength of the Lok Sabha? Maximum is 550. Okay, but present now it is 543. Okay, initially it was 545, but by 104th Amendment 2019, two Anglo-Indian seats was abolished. Anglo-Indian seats were abolished. When in 2019 by 104th Amendment. Now it is 543, but maximum it can be 550. Next question is, who presides over a joint sitting of Parliament? Joint sitting, Article 108. When there is a deadlock over a bill for 6 months, when there is a deadlock over a bill means ordinary bill. There can be a joint sitting which is summoned by the president, but presides by the speaker. Remember, summoned by president but presided by the speaker. Joint sitting means it is a sitting or a session of both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Okay, Article 108. Next question is, what is the tenure of the Rajya Sabha? Tenure of Rajya Sabha. Tenure is 6 years, but 2 plus 2 plus 2. What does it mean? This means that in every 2 years, 1/3 members of Rajya Sabha were removed and election can be taken place in every 2 years. Okay, and for Lok Sabha it is 5 years. Next question is, which case is associated with the basic structure doctrine? In 1973, there was a case in Supreme Court, that is Kesavananda Bharati versus State of Kerala. In this case, the Supreme Court declared basic structure doctrine. That means the Parliament can amend any part of Indian Constitution but cannot be amended or cannot be violate the basic structure. According to using Article 368, which is about constitutional amendment, the Parliament can amend any part of Indian Constitution but cannot alter. Remember, cannot alter or change the basic structure of Indian Constitution. That is called the basic structure doctrine. The case is Kesavananda Bharati, option B, 1973. Okay, and in this case it is also here that says that preamble. Remember, in this case the Supreme Court said that preamble is also part of Indian Constitution. Remember, preamble is also part of Indian Constitution, which was said by the Supreme Court in Kesavananda Bharati case 1973. Next question, who holds office during the pleasure of president? The answer is governor of a state. Okay, speaker is elected among its members of Lok Sabha. Okay, UPSC chairman 6 years or 65 years. Okay, CEC 6 or 65 years, but the speaker is for Lok Sabha. The governor holds office during the pleasure of the president. The next question is, 7th Amendment Act 1992 relates. The 7th Amendment 1992 says about Panchayat Raj system or 3-tier system: Gram Panchayat at village level, Panchayat Samiti at block level, and Jilla Parishad at district level. Okay, and there shall be a indirect election to linking these three, indirect election or indirectly linked. And remember, 74 amendment says about municipality. Anti-defection law, 52nd amendment 1985, anti-defection law. GST 101st amendment 2017. Remember, municipality 74, Panchayat 73rd, anti-defection law 52nd amendment, our 10th schedule, and GST 101st amendment 2017, and 122nd bill. Next question is, under which article can a financial emergency be declared? Financial emergency is a 3 types: national emergency, state emergency, and financial emergency. 352 national emergency, 356 state emergency, and 360 financial emergency. ठीक है. Okay, the financial emergency 360, and all these proclaimed by president. Okay. Next question, the Council of Ministers cannot exceed what percent of Lok Sabha strength? The Council of Ministers. Recently, the Dharmendra Pradhan resigned from Council of Ministers, and it is 15% of Lok Sabha. 15%. Option B. 15% of Lok Sabha. Maximum 15%. Okay. From Lok Sabha, of Lok Sabha. But a minister can either from Lok Sabha or from Rajya Sabha. Remember, a minister of a Council of Ministers. Remember, a minister of Council of Ministers can be or either be from Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, but the maximum strength should be 15% of Lok Sabha. Okay. But in state case, state council of ministers, it is also 15%, but the minimum number should be 12 in SLA or state council ministers. It is in number minimum 12 or maximum 15%, and center also or union council of ministers, it is 15% of Lok Sabha, but a minister can be either from Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, but maximum should be 15%. And this rules is brought by 91st Amendment 2003. Remember, this law is brought by 91st Amendment 2003. Remember this point, 91st Amendment. Okay. And the next question is, which High Court has jurisdiction over Lakshadweep? Which High Court has jurisdiction over Lakshadweep? The answer is the Kerala High Court. The Kerala High Court has the jurisdiction over Lakshadweep. Okay. In India there are 25 High Courts. Remember, 7th Amendment 1956. 7th Amendment 1956 says about there shall be a High Court for 2 or more states or UTs. 7th Amendment 1956. So there are 2 state or union territories has one High Court. Okay. Remember, the Assam High Court has the maximum area. Next question is, which organ is considered the guardian of the Constitution, or who is known as the guardian of the Constitution? The answer is the Supreme Court. Supreme Court is known as the guardian of the Constitution. Okay. The Supreme Court has Article 32, which is a judicial review over a law. Okay. Next question is, the Sarkaria Commission reviewed the relation between the legislative relation of central and states. Okay. Or central state legislative relations. Sarkara Commission. Which is not a fundamental right in part 3. In part 3 contest, which is not a fundamental right. The answer is